Okay, so check this out. So I was watching a film based on. I was trying to understand the concept of fear, and so um, there's some things that were interesting to me. One of which is uh, I came across the concept that fear is just an illusion. And so at first I thought, okay, well, is it an irrational illusion, or is it a or some things might be irrational illusions, like I don't know, walking outside and being lit on fire. That might be an irrational fear. I mean, like why would that happen? So then I thought to myself, some might be, but some might not be. So then you have fears that are like if there's a pit of razors and like spinning razors, and you said, okay, I don't want to jump down there because I know that I know I wouldn't be coming back. So that's just an understanding of something, of me doing something that's outside of my agenda. My understanding of what of who I am, what I want to do, how I judge myself based on security and other factors, competence, validation, security. You know, so those are outside of this. So I feel the emotion of fear, uh, the illusion of fear, really to encourage me to stay within the boundaries of what my agenda is, and I understand that this is the case. So, uh, but then I thought to myself, well, what is my greatest fear? What do I fear? Do I have any fears? And I came up with one thing, something that bothered me immensely. And it's something, and I said, okay, now that's an illusion, right? For this instance, I'm saying, okay, all right, well, I understand that sometimes fear can create illusions, things that might be manifestations of a certain fear, like being walking outside, being lit on fire. You might fear a match that's lit, or have nightmares, manifestations of the fear of being lit on fire. But so which might be an irrational fear, which I can understand some of those illusions. But there's something that really bothered me. We're gonna call it point A. Point A really bothers me because it's gross. I think that it's because it's gross, but really I sat and thought to myself, okay, at what point do I think about point A, and what purpose does it serve? Fear of something serves a purpose because you're not necessarily scared of fear. The fear is an illusion. Fear is an illusion, but it serves a purpose to keep you within the confines of the parameters of what your agenda is, what you create your agenda uh, to be. So I say I don't like point A because it's disgusting. And so I thought to myself, when do I think of point A? I think of point A when I'm doing something that I might not want to do on the inside. I might say, hey, it's a good idea for me to look at. Let's say there's a pretty girl, and you say, man, I really want her. I really want to lust after her. Now, you might think of point A. It might just pop into your head, and it's just so extremely unpleasant. But point A only pops into your head at the times when you're thinking about maybe lusting after that girl, or let's say you're speeding on the road and you're topping 100, and you think of point A. Whatever point A is for you, it's something that stops you, that strongly encourages you to do what you think is in your best interest, or avoid something that's not in your interest. So it's not necessarily that point A, um, although it may be harmful, it's not necessarily that the fear is the illusion, and point A just serves a purpose. And it can, if you have reasons to, um, let's say your agenda changes, then point A might lose its purpose, and it'll no longer be a problem. Also, if point A, if you understand a better way to stay within the confines of your agenda, whatever your goals are, um, and it's better than using point A. Something. Let's call it point B. Point B is you're not scared anymore. Point B is just something that strongly encourages you to stick by your values, or stay within the speed limit, or to stay with your wife or husband, or with your spouse. Something that encourages you to stay within the parameters in a stronger way or better for your goals than point A. Now point A becomes invalid, and there's no fear for it. It's useless. So I guess that would be the way that fears are defeated. So that's number one. Number two is it was only true because I believed it was true. And so you can change your fears and change pretty much everything based off belief. So that I kept deducing multiple situations, and it always came down a lot in certain situations. It came down to belief. If you believe that it can be different, then you can change it. And if you believe in changing point A, believe that you can change point A. You can create alternatives. You can believe. If you believe you can understand point A, you can understand it. If you believe that you cannot understand your fear, point A, then you cannot understand it. So belief guides a lot of mental functions. Now, I started to understand what belief was. Okay, so you have this concept of belief. What the hell is belief? Well, I have something here, and I just started going up the chart. So I said, what is belief? Well, you believe what you want to. So that's the next step up. You believe what you want to. And what you want to believe is based on your agenda. And your agenda is based on what your understanding is of what is true. And what you hold to be true is what either is what you learn, but it's either what you're taught or what you observe for yourself. And you learn based on what you believe to be true. So at some point in time, it kind of feeds off itself. But what you learn ultimately comes from an evaluation of your coping mechanisms, how you judge yourself, how you feel about your security, how you judge your security. Your already established coping mechanisms is what you filter new knowledge through. So then you have your needs. Your needs are the ways in which you judge yourself. You have those needs constantly. That's your functionality. So, but that's all based off of your perceived understanding of the world and your environment and yourself. But what your perceived understanding is what you hold to be based on perceived facts. You hold them to be true, these facts that you use to create your understanding. But it's really perceived understanding because they're not necessarily true, but as long as you understand them to be true, then you now have perceived understanding, and now you can go about by meeting your needs using your understanding, judging yourself based on how you know how to judge yourself, judging your security based on how you know how to judge your security. It's all based on what you perceive to be true, which isn't necessarily true, which I think is an important fact about that. So now you go back before that, and you have the established ways in which you judge yourself. So you at some point in time, you've established certain ways to judge yourself. All the way before this process, kind of, you learn new things, and there's a circular motion at some point in time. But when you go before that, there's an established way in which you first learn to judge yourself, and through those, in your situation, And through those ways, you continue to learn, and you filter your understanding through the first ways. But the first ways come because your brain is just programmed to have these needs. As soon as, I mean, maybe when you're born or when you're coming to existence, whatever, you are judging yourself based on how you feel you should. No matter what the understanding is. Um, you have to know who you are, um, even if it's simplistic. You have to know who you are. Even little kids have some form of how they judge themselves. So know you are, how you feel, about your environment, you know, uh, your ability to do certain things, whatever it is. There's that set need for that to. This is how we function based on these needs and to meet these needs. So my question is, I guess I don't really have a question. This is really just me investigating. I'm trying to figure out some things, and so this is just me investigating. What is belief? And belief is that process. Ultimately, this process that I just went down is what belief is. So, um, I don't know. I mean, I think it's interesting. But yeah, yeah. So, anyways, all that stuff forms belief, and you use belief to do what? To understand, to change point A, change that fear, change it to point B, change the purpose of the fear. But you can only do that by changing your belief. You can only, but how do you change your belief? You got to understand belief, right? Um, and then and then but there's also the concept of well, you know what? Go for that. All right, so that's what it is. I hope it helped, cause I'm still figuring it out, but it's pretty